A rainy Monday morning in Cameroon. Thanks for joining us, faithful televiewers, for today's edition of Prime Flash. With me, Audrey, Zatsa. One person reportedly died with houses and properties destroyed in a flood that occurred in Kwatawine, Mutengene over the weekend. Emmanuel Assi recounts.
Water don't enter for all money, so we know they come outside. Now see the whole place, so all was surrounding us.
Denizens in Tiko subdivision of the southwest region woke up this morning with flood caused by heavy rains, which has been falling continuously all night. A family in the course of running lost their boy in this natural disaster. The divisional officer, mayor, and chief of Tiko subdivision visited the area in sympathy.
Where they say the person died? The father and the mother. They were told to do what? Hold the water or what?
The divisional officer noted that the cause of this flood is as a result of houses built on water channels.
We will constantly have situations of flood, and there is nothing we can do. Water is a natural phenomenon. There is just nothing. We only need to channel the water. And so those who are constructed on waterways or water channels, of course, there will be no other option but to break.
The flood this morning caused traffic as vehicles were stuck in the heavy water currents. An eyewitness recounts the story.
Now the rain start falling heavy. Around 6 o'clock for morning time, we put the pass to go. The man where he get the place, he get my 14. He call, say there's a rain. What I want to carry for the police college place, we not ready for. And he call never enough for back here. They come carry the thing there. They move table, they move fridge, and that's more chair there. Then
the divisional officer in his outing today, July 9, stated that houses will be broken down so that a channel can be created for rainwater to have a good passage. The denizens in this area say it is the first time that something of this nature is happening.
Let's now talk about the Muslim Feast of the Sacrifice, which was celebrated throughout the national territory on Saturday, July 9. In New Douala 3 subdivision, Muslim men, women and children gathered at the mosque to pray for peace in Cameroon on this occasion. Fon Quinta.
At the Commando neighborhood in New Douala 2 subdivision, the colorfully dressed Muslim men, women and children gathered at the mosque to pray for peace in Cameroon. Leading the prayers, the national spiritual leader of the Shia Muslim community, Sheikh Hassan Sango, exhorted the Muslim faithfuls to value human life.
Dieu a créé l'homme et a honoré l'homme.
God created man and honored man. God did not allow his servant Abraham to sacrifice his only son. This was to make mankind understand that human life cannot be bought.
Dieu a rançonné son unique fils dans le but d'interpeller l'humanité à comprendre que la vie de l'homme n'a pas de prix.
Meaning that the whole world is commemorating this anniversary with a ram being sacrificed, because God does not accept for a human being to be sacrificed, even if the aim is to serve him.
Cela veut dire que c'est une fête chargée d'éradication de tout.
It's a feast to eradicate war, terrorism of all kinds, be it religious terrorism.
Tout ce qui terrorise la vie de l'homme, la fête de sacrifice est une fête chargée de son éradication.
At the end of the prayer, Sheikh Hassan symbolically slaughtered a ram, paving the way for the rest of the faithful to go home, and those him not forgetting to share. Prayers in the economic capital city did not only take place at the Commando Mosque. The prayers took place in every mosque with the central theme of prayers at all prayer grounds centered towards peace, love and unity in Cameroon. The Feast of the Baski, characterized by communion, remains an occasion for Muslims to share with the needy as recommended by the Quran. From the prayer ground, Faithfuls headed home for the second part of the feast, usually characterized with wining and dining.
Muslim faithfuls in Kribi, Ocean Division South region of Cameroon equally joined their counterparts worldwide in celebrating the Feast of the Sacrifice. The officiating Imam Awudu during their ritual Thanksgiving prayers session reminded the faithfuls of symbolism and importance of the event. Dolingonde.
In commemorating this year's Feast of Sacrifice, also known as the Tabaski, Muslim faithfuls in the south region of Cameroon, precisely in Kribi, have observed the ritual, beginning with a Thanksgiving prayer session chaired by the spiritual leader, the Imam of the Salam Mosque. In his message, the Imam Awudu has returned to the symbolism and importance of sacrifice and the need to preserve peace and unity amongst faithfuls alongside non-faithfuls.
It is one God between Christian and Muslim, because anything that I heard there was very interesting about that we should live with the fear of God, and the Almighty God should keep us very well, because without Him, there is no supreme power without Him.
As it is the tradition in celebrating the feast, a ram was slaughtered by the Imam Awudu as a way of officially setting the pace for faithfuls to follow suit as they returned home to go on celebrating, not forgetting to share especially with the underprivileged.
The national chairman of the United Democratic Party, UDP, Bochong Alaji Lawan Bako, over the weekend celebrated the Feast of Sacrifice Tabaski with Muslim and Christians in a fellowship meal. A usual yearly routine the UDP national chair plays. He urged all to ensure justice, peace, love for one another. Let's listen to him in this excerpt selected by Charles Kibwa.
When there is peace, there is justice. When there is justice, there is peace. Because without justice, you can't have a sustainable type of a peace that will believe will be fragile. And that's why my friends have come to see me. Muslims, non-Muslims, Christians, traditional rulers, you'll find fond of whom there with me and other traditionalists. Other politicians have escaped, they have run away because they don't believe in sharing. They believe in lies telling. I always speak the truth. I speak the truth. I tell the head of state the truth. I tell Cameroonians the truth. And that's why I'm here in Bamida. Continue to be here in Bamida for us to be praying for this country, praying for justice, praying for peace, and what have you.
On to something else, staff representatives from chemical industries in Douala have undergone a one-week training on their roles, objectives and responsibilities. A training carried out by various trade unionship under the supervision of the Littoral Regional Delegation of Labour and Social Security. Joingong has the
Discussing the role of staff representatives in chemical companies and related fields was the objective of a one-week meeting which brought together union officials in Douala. The different modules of the training workshop focused mainly on the responsibilities, powers and obligations of staff representatives who must be exemplary employees.
Ce séminaire, c'est pour renforcer les capacités de travail.
This seminar is to reinforce the capacities of workers in terms of legislation and to give them the latest updates. Towards the end of last year, there was an election of staff representatives in various companies. They are on the field now, and it is important that the syndicates assist and train them because many among them do not know what it is about.
Il faut que le syndicat les assiste, que le syndicat les forme. Parce que parmi eux, il y a évidemment beaucoup de nouveaux qui ne savent pas ce que c'est.
The various speakers also record the limits of these staff representatives in companies, insisting on the fact that they should avoid behaving like trade unionists in absolute terms. The staff representatives we are trading here today is such that they have the required skills to face what awaits them. That is their employers, their colleagues, as well as their duties as a worker. A staff representative is not a unionist. they each have their roles to play.
Ils ont leur rôle à jouer. Le syndicaliste a son rôle à jouer également.
The Minister of Labour and Social Security, well represented at this meeting, insisted on the protection of these delegates from the diktats and of the wrath of employers who are not always aware of the legislation.
La protection des délégués du personnel, le législateur a prévu qu'ils ont d'abord.
For the protection of staff representatives, where they are elected, they have a 2-year mandate. During this period, their employer cannot fire them without prior notification of the labor inspector. If the employer doesn't follow this procedure, we will ask him to reinstate the staff representatives and then follow the right procedure to fire a staff representative.
Instruit à l'employeur de réintégrer ce délégué du personnel et se conformer à la législation en vigueur pour le cas de licenciement d'un délégué du personnel.
The knowledge acquired will allow a better appropriation of the regulatory provisions, not only for the personnel of this chemical sector and related fields, but also for their companies.
The indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon have grabbed their qualification ticket for the quarterfinals at the ongoing 2022 Women's Cup of Nations in Morocco after defeating Tunisia 2-0, occupying the second position in Group B with 5 points. Eileen Sama reports.
Attacker Michaela Abam scored the first goal for the Lionesses barely 2 minutes after play, setting the pace for Team Cameroon to lead to the tail end of the game when Ajaran Truth added another with a powerful header after receiving a pass from Bella Rose, scoring the goal that gave the Lionesses a 2-0 victory over Tunisia in Casablanca, claiming 3 points as such, progressing to second position in Group B with 5 points behind Zambia with 7 points, and as well qualifying for the quarter-final stage at the 2022 Total Energies African Women's Cup of Nations Morocco, liberating coach Gabriel Zabo, who has been under pressure. Note here that, despite the defeat, Tunisia also advanced to the quarterfinals as one of the best third-place teams as they finished in Group B with 3 points. Cameroon, who finished second in Group B, will play the runner-up in Group C, while third-place Tunisia will take on the winner of Group C. Group B leader Zambia will face Senegal in the quarterfinals, while winners of the quarterfinal matches will secure qualification to the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. It is worth highlighting that host nation Morocco is leading the competition in Group A with 9 points, followed by Senegal with 6. Today, day 3 matches will be played in Group C at 9 p.m. when South Africa clash with Botswana and Nigeria against Burundi. However, 2 losers of the quarterfinals will have another chance to secure qualification as they will be engaged in intercontinental playoffs ahead of the World Cup 2023.
And out of the country in South Africa, police is reported to be investigating 2 bar shootings on Sunday, July 10, that left 19 people dead and several wounded. According to reports, the shootout took place in 2 different places, one in Soweto, where 15 people were killed as they enjoyed a night out, and another in the eastern city of Pietermaritzburg, where 4 others were shot dead and 8 wounded. Police sources said it was too early to say if the assaults were in some way connected, but observed via similarity. Last July saw large-scale rioting and looting, ransacking of shops, attacks on infrastructure and industrial warehouses, leading to more than 350 deaths and several arrests. That was it for today's edition of Prime Flash, produced by Junior Pelama. Thanks for watching. Faithful televiewers, stay glued for more programs on the African Eye. Bye.